Welcome to SDL City Showdown. I'm AJ and I'm joined with Andre and Steve. So this is a fun game. We're going to try to keep it light and positive wherever the positives were. It's basically like we're in a dark room and there's just maybe like a little bit of light peering on the other side of the door. So the first segment is Inside Out. Essentially, we're going to take different emotions and kind of put a different player or aspect of the game to it. So we'll start with the first one, and I'll throw this to Andre first. The first emotion is frustration.
Yeah, okay. So, the game itself in general, the loss, it's been through weeks of this, So that's kind of what evoked frustration on me. Actually, no, I'll take that back. The players, because at the end of the game, there was a scuffle, right? And it's starting to get to me. I get that there's passion in the game. But it's really bothering me that we are undisciplined. We lack the fundamentals, and we allow emotions to get to us. Leuven 2 weeks ago was angry and kicked the ball off, drew that red. And then we missed him last week. It's just this team. And then, again, last week there was a bit of a skirmish towards the end. And then today, yesterday, the latest match was Klaus just pretty much getting into it with one of the Kansas City players at the end of the game. And that's just getting to me. It's frustrating me. This needs to stop, guys. We need to take care of our own business, before we let the others kind of get to our heads. What do you guys think? Yeah.
Well, one thing I was going to mention, and I'm glad you brought this up, there was a point near the end of the game, I think it was like 5 minutes left, and Klaus was trying to do something silly, which was standing behind the goalkeeper.
I thought you were going to say score.
Which I told him. Well, yeah, no, that's never going to happen. Come on, Steve. But I like the play. Players sometimes do it. Sometimes it's a mess with the goalkeeper's head, whatever have you, maybe even get the ball. But the thing I didn't like is after the goalkeeper kicked the ball, Klaus just walked very slowly back. And I'm thinking, okay, what happens if there was a quick turnover and the ball got kicked down for a quick transition play? Klaus is literally offsides by, I don't know, a third of a field, a third. And it was just so frustrating. I'm like, dude, get back on side. Come on. The game is still going. Play. It's like they just kind of gave up. They just weren't mentally in it. And that just kind of piggybacking into what you were saying, where it just seemed like the focus wasn't there, that discipline wasn't there. It was just really, really frustrating for sure. And I would say for me, the frustration was that the heart wasn't there. It was missing, guys.
Yep. I think my frustration also comes from the fact that this team doesn't seem to be playing hard right now. We're not seeing any kind of passion other than this perfunctory stuff at the end of the match where then they want to beat their chest and then they want to act tough. Klaus has now done it in 2 games. He did it at the end with Carnell, and now he's doing it with this. Save that crap for the actual game. This is a game that matters to the fans. Not a lot of other games, but this Kansas rivalry matters. And I don't know why, but I don't think that the team gets it or cares. Which, by the way, this is fine. They are professionals. They have a thing to do. I think the team should be plugged into what the fans really care about. What happened to Klaus saying it's either his mom or your mom crying? He doesn't like to see his mom cry. What happened to that kind of passion? What happened? Where are those players on this team? Are they all injured? Did we get rid of them all? And now we're just a collection of people playing a sport? I think, Andre, at the beginning of the season, we were wondering what our identity was. And this might be it. It's just an apathetic team. I don't see this team caring. And that's what's frustrating is there's 22,000 people that are going to show up next Sunday. And do they care more than the 11 that are on the pitch? That's a problem. And that's from the top.
Yeah, it is definitely frustrating, right? This is a team that just doesn't have a strong identity. I get that we have a good defense, but there just isn't something if somebody who's never seen City before says, hey, tell me about your team, what do we tell them? Hey, they got a great defense. But there's no style. To me, it doesn't feel like there's a good style difference as just a fan, right? I'm sure they have a lot of discussions in the locker room and stuff like that, but it's just missing. So the next emotion I have for you guys, and I know the mood is a little bit tough on City right now, but the next one is hope. What would you say, Steve?
I hope this team scores a goal. I don't hope. I don't know. I don't think I am not ready and prepared to be hopeful for this team other than wishes, which is what I got. I got a pocket full of wishes, and that's all I got right now. I can't imagine what this team is showing right now that is a glimmer of hope, because we've got center backs almost trying to score. So this is last year. I am just like thrown back in time, 2024. This time last season, we started making the exact same arguments, this exact same discussion, and it's not changed. I blame those stupid collars. That's what I blame.
The only hope I could probably give is that the good thing is that we're at the beginning of the season. What was this? The 7th game, I believe. So we got 34 games. So we're not even a third of the way through. There's some hope that there could be change. Now, I get it. We're super negative right now, and we're probably sitting here thinking, well, what has Olaf done that shows us that anything is going to change? Because literally, it feels like we're the same team this game in the 7th game as we were the first game. And it's like, at some point, when are you going to change? But I have to have some hope that this is very early in the season. We're, maybe a little bit under a quarter of the way through. So there is some hope out there that there could be change. What about you, Andre?
I think the hope I have is kind of seeing some of the other players that we don't get to see regularly. I kind of like their showing yesterday. Granted, it was a loss. But like Pompeo in there, I thought was, he was a bit of a spark for our team. Take that with a grain of salt, because again, we're also playing the worst team in our conference, and I was expecting to see more. So, but I like some of the guys we have in the back. Given that I see that hope there, it also, in contrast, makes me kind of want to back off of Klaus now. Like, I kind of think maybe it's time we just move forward, and let these young guys get in there.
Yeah. And I'll go to the next emotion here. Surprised. When I saw Valum out there, Valum is typically a left wing back, and he does have some time throughout his career playing even a left winger or left midfield. Seeing him as like essentially the second striker, I was like, what is going on? Like, literally, why do we have somebody whose job is not actually a second striker playing second striker? Like, is that what this team is? It's like everybody has to be defensive to be on the field. Like, think about that, right? Like, we have more center backs than we have offensive players, it feels like. Everybody's position seems to be more defensive than actually offensive. However, I was surprised when I started to see the generation that he was doing, how he was making plays happen. I get it. He missed a wide open net. But the fact that he even got there, I was surprised. I was like, who is this guy? Like, finally, somebody's trying to generate something between him and Celio. I was like, finally, we have something generating. I didn't feel like Klaus was generating much. Hartl was playing way too deep to generate much, but I was surprised. And honestly, I was like, I wouldn't mind actually seeing him again playing more offensively. Although I don't know about the second striker, but then again, who else are we going to put in there? I mean, as much as I love Betcher and seeing what he was doing, Betcher just has been missing, and Klaus, he hasn't scored for, I think it's a calendar year now, literally a calendar year. So might as well put him up there. I don't know. What were you guys surprised about?
I was surprised to see Celio and Klaus starting. I get there has to be rotations. That showed me, with what I saw yesterday, that showed me that I don't know if I wouldn't say Melberg is being strategic. I think it's desperation. I think that at this point they're trying to figure out a roster that would work, a lineup that would do well. And they probably figured they're going against the worst team in the league. There's nothing to lose, but we did. And we still got nothing out of it. We don't have a true, Klaus should have been it. Klaus should have been that true striker. But I don't think he's it. And after that, who do we have? We have Betcher, who is okay, but he's not a big name. The big name that Kansas City had scored twice on us yesterday. He got through that vaunted defense that we keep talking about. Where is that? This team is no, that's it. All right.
Yeah, I agree. Volum I was surprised at how well he's doing out there. He was somewhat of an unknown to me. Homeboy got it done, and I like what I saw from him. I would like to keep seeing him more. I was also surprised with Celio and Klaus because I remember last year they seemed like they had good chemistry. They made opportunities for each other. It seemed like Celio kept doing it, but Klaus did nothing with it. Again, I don't want to just keep harping on Klaus because I know I had him for my top scorer. And maybe that's why I'm very salty right now. I'm surprised that we had such a lackluster performance. Just Klaus was just not really doing anything for the team. I think he was more of a detriment.
I agree. I don't know where we're going to go from here. So to kind of piggyback on there, the next emotion is fear. What would your fear be, Andre?
Well, we kind of talked about it in the last question. It's that, Olaf is still trying to figure stuff out. And it's kind of late in the season. You should kind of know what kind of team you have. And the fact that he's putting these different rotations in there, that kind of has me concerned because, you can't find yourself in the middle of the season, man. You should kind of know what you're good at and build upon that, right? And yeah, that has me concerned right now. It feels like we're just going to it's like another wasted season.
Yeah, my fear is that Olaf won't change, that we're going to still run out with this 3 center back look. And I get it. I love commitment to something, but it has to be at least doing something. At some point, you got to say, if it's not working, it probably won't work. And I get it. The formation has worked for teams. Teams have gone to championships with this kind of formation and this style of play. But the problem is maybe just our players and coaching style, maybe the MLS just eats alive this type of formation with the players that we have. We may need to actually change it up. I know. It's a silly concept, isn't it?
My fear is that the fans are going to stop coming. I think by midseason, we're going to see our first non-sellout game. That's what I fear. If this continues, we're going to see our first empty seats in this game. I don't see how. If we go 2 more games where maybe we score 1 goal or we still lose and we're not scoring, who's paying $60 to come see this team? Who's paying $60 to come, especially when it gets hot here in St. Louis? Who's going to do that? And I do think that sports is a business, and this is where the bottom line is when the ownership is going to start getting scared and caring a little bit. Probably it's when we start to see that. When we start to see those empty seats, that's when we care. And that's all it is. So, by the way, I did look it up. I've always heard that it was May that's the last time Klaus has scored. On May 11th last year, we played Chicago here in St. Louis, and we beat them 3-1. Klaus had a brace, and that is the last time he scored. So we are about a calendar month away from it being a full year since Klaus has scored a goal. And I have a picture of one of the Chicago players wiping his brow after we scored that 3rd goal. That's one of the epic pictures of all time in St. Louis. But that is the last time Klaus scored.
Oh, it's that picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy that they shipped out is doing one of these, and you see the Raleigh flags in the background, and Klaus and the other players are up against the fans. That's that game. That is the game. And I think that was the highlight of the season last year. I think that was the last time we felt good about this team when we just put it on Chicago. Another hurt team, by the way. That was the last time. My fear is that the people are going to stop coming. Cheap tickets, but we don't want it that way.
All right, last emotion, to be a little bit positive, happy. Give me one thing that made you happy. Andre's over here like, oh my gosh, if you guys aren't watching on video, he's like hand to the face, like, oh my gosh, what can I even come up with at this point? There's got to be something, Andre. Give me something.
Yeah. Okay, what made me happy is to have the clock run out, right? And I like that we lost. No, I'm serious. It felt good to lose to what we consider an inferior team, which make the next 2 games maybe easier to swallow, right? Because we're going up against Vancouver and Columbus, 2 great teams, right? So I think that it was a sign of relief for me, to get this game out of the way.
Yeah, I guess the relief for me is that Durkin didn't have to be on the field for this. My Bulldog's out getting his knee rehabbed, and he didn't have to be a part of this. That's my happy. That's my feel good moment. AJ, it's my feel good moment.
So your Bulldog doesn't have to suffer through this. So great.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could say the thing I'm happy about is, I know we've said this a lot of times, but at least we got to watch some soccer. hey, we have a team. I guess that excuse is only going to last so long.
It's only going to last so long, dude.
It's only going to last so long. I know. I'm trying here. I guess the thing I was actually happy about is there were some players I was actually happy for. So like the volume thing was kind of interesting. I was happy for that. Happy seeing that there was a lot of red in the stadium, although it seems like there was less than there have been prior visits to the team from Kansas. So I don't know if there's starting to be some apathy, but I was still happy to see that. I don't know, guys. The only thing you could say is that a bad loss to your rival, who is near the bottom of the table, may generate some pressure on the inside of the organization. So I guess you could be happy about that, perhaps. That maybe now Olaf is the seat's getting a little hot. Maybe even Lutz at this point, his seat's getting a little hot. I know there's a lot of fans that, even though they absolutely love Lutz, they're getting a little frustrated with him. So maybe at least we're happy about this. Maybe this might actually spark something.
Yep, we shall see.
Yeah. So our next segment here is Grab Bag. This is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Steve, you want to take this one?
Sure. So, we need to think about some sort of positivity. So how about this? Let's think about all the different mascots that you guys have ever seen of all times. If this team was to be described as one mascot of all time, what mascot would you guys choose?
I'm going to show you a picture on my phone here.
Yes, the Baby King from the Pelicans. Now, why is it the Baby King? Why would this team be described as the Baby King?
Yeah, so if you guys want to Google this, just type in Baby King with the Pelicans. So I kind of picked this one because it's just freaking ugly, dude. It is ugly. It's not like it's funny. It's not like it's inappropriate. It's just ugly. If you guys had a word for his team, what would it be? Probably ugly.
Probably ugly. Big ass baby.
Yeah.
So
that's
baby.
My pick.
I think if I was to give a mascot to his team, it'd probably be the Tricks Rabbit. He just can't get anything, man. Like, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. That's why I'm literally thinking, like, silly STL, wins are for good teams. Sorry.
No,
Still
you
negative.
could do the Lucky Charms. You're never going to give him Lucky Charms. Like, there's a Lucky Charms guy running around just bopping the ball out of the goal. Bopping the ball out of the goal. You can't get it. Bop out of the ball.
That was a close second. I thought about that one as well.
Yep. What comes to mind for me is the Philly Fanatic. Just this big, obtuse, goofy looking thing that looks like it could be scary, but at the end it's just a big old clown. Like, we got this big hulking coach, he's kind of being a big tough guy. You got big guys on our team, but we're just clowns. And we just grab our big bellies and shake them at the teams and hope that they get distracted. I'm assuming at some point Lutz is going to come out with the t-shirt can and just start firing t-shirts into the other team, because that's basically the only thing. If there was a mascot where it's just people just kind of sitting around, that could be our team too, but I don't know about that. But yeah, the Philly Fanatic for me is what I would define this team. Big old honking nose, just what is that thing? I discussed with you guys before, like, my initial thought was Gritty, but Gritty is a badass dude, man. Gritty has murdered people. Gritty would come at your house at night and look at you like, this team ain't Gritty. This team ain't fearing nobody. Like, nah, man. This team is like the Cardinals Redbird. This is like Fredbird. Big old goofy damn thing that doesn't scare anybody. He just kind of bops around. That's it. If we were to describe this team as an event in history, so think about things that have happened before, how would you describe this team? Then when I was thinking about this, the event that came to mind was, now kids, you got to remember this. Your old Papa J here he's an old guy, is Geraldo Rivera opening Capone's vault. It was a big deal. Think about, like, we had that big preseason event. Everything was great. This is all this what's going to happen. We're going to get all this. It's going to be great. When you show up, you open the vault, and nothing's inside. For me, that's this team where we thought it was going to be this really cool event and just nothing. It's just empty. So, like, everyone heard about it was going to happen and just nothing happened. Although another one just came to mind too, which is pretty obvious. So what do you guys think? What event would be this team in history?
So I actually have one. So the composer Bach, back in the Baroque era of music, at the time, he wasn't legendary like he was today. And when we look back at him, he essentially is like the biggest representation of that particular era. His music, however, like the music that he would write, that paper ultimately ended up wrapping meat. So like when you would go to the meat store, they would buy his paper and then it was often wrapped up in meat. And sometimes they would find his music because, somebody had used it and just kept it or whatever have you. So this is what I kind of feel like is our team is kind of like the music sheets. I honestly believed at the beginning of the season, looking at these players, Hardo, Toyshirt, Berkey, etc., all the way down the line, I was like, okay, we have these great players, Celio, Indy, etc. How are we not going to be fourth or fifth in this league? If we just pretty much performed like we did when we had Hackworth, we'd at least be fifth, maybe sixth at the lowest end. But instead of being like preserved in some museum, we're just simply wrapping meat on a shelf doing nothing. Basically wasted.
So what you're saying is this team is like a used meat wrapper.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at least the used meat wrapper has some purpose, some identity.
Probably enjoyed itself.
It has a job.
Right.
Yeah. At least it did something.
Yeah. No, it's just discarded.
So I was going to go with the Cybertruck unveiling announcement. But
Oof.
The Cybertruck was ugly then. It's still ugly now. It was a turd then. It's still a turd now. So I'm going to go with Y2K then. I think there was this big ramp up of the world's coming to an end, right? But for us, it's like, it's big thing about like, we're going to be a good team again. We're going to return to form. We got a new coach. It's going to be different. And it's nothing. It's like a fizzle. You're waking up and you still have to go to work the next morning, which is, what happened after Y2K. So that's kind of where I'm going with this.
You could say, like, we could go back to the Cybertruck event where that idiot guy threw a metal ball at the window because it was supposed to be bulletproof. And the second it takes any kind of damage, it just falls apart. Well, this is like this team. We talked about the depth of this team and how great this team is going to be, even though if someone goes down, we got someone else here. Well, 7 players are on the injured list. It took a shot put to the window and it got shattered. This team is clearly just made of Fabergé eggs. Another one we could use is like the Titanic. This is supposed to be like a great team. Everything's going to go great. As soon as one small thing happens, and it just, that's what I got, man.
Okay. And you got your last one? Team to school.
Oh, yeah. So if we had to take this team to school, what subjects would this team need to have? For me, it would have to be the art class because this team's got to learn how to draw up some damn plays. So. What about you guys? What subjects do you think this team needs to go to? Or is it just a timeout corner?
Probably. I would probably say home ec. Try to get something cooking.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one.
My guy coming with the home ec. All right, I got you, man. Home ec.
I think it wouldn't be a subject. I think you have to go back to maybe like kindergarten, maybe first grade. Where we can learn how to play with each other, like how to play together, how to be, because we don't even have that. Like I was watching some of the game, and like when we pass the ball, we're just kind of standing there waiting for the ball to arrive. There's like maybe cook up something, right? Because we're just sitting there waiting for stuff to like come to us, and we should be making things happen. We need to know how to play together. How to have teamwork.
Maybe they need to take like a Mighty Ducks approach. Where it's like we have to like pass eggs to each other and like don't drop the toilet paper kind of thing. Like, because damn, this is supposed to be a professional team, right? I saw comments that was like, this team could be beaten by City 2 right now.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. The only way we don't get beat by City 2 is if we keep signing their players.
Oh my God, this is last year. I can't do this. Get me off this train. I'm going to bite my cheek. This is deja vu. Oh my God. I can't do this again. I cannot see Johnny Klein on the field for us again. But hey, good times. This is good times in St. Louis.
Yeah. Guys, we got a few more minutes. Let's go ahead and do goal or no goal. I'm sorry, guys, for those that are listening. I know this is a pretty negative episode, but it's kind of hard, honestly. Except if we start talking about something other than City right now, we might be able to bring some positivity in. But here's actually a fun one for goal, no goal. Steve, this one's dedicated to you. PHTHALOHZ said on Reddit, personally, I blame the collars. Goal or no goal?
Yep. This is a goal. Oh, this is going to be one of those things where if this team does finish last, this is going to be one of those curses, and it's because of that collar. Every time you see these guys, you're flipping that stupid collar up. Yes, it's a goal. What about you, Andre?
Yeah, it's a goal because I just hate these colors, man. Jeez.
We were
Can't even
fine.
commit.
Colors.
You
What
can't
did
even
the
commit to
colors
it. It's
do
a
to
half
you?
collar. It's not even a collar. It's a half collar.
And a little bitty button. And a little bitty button.
Yeah. Either commit or don't.
Yeah. I think we know which way you're going to
Okay,
go.
here.
AJ.
Yeah, I don't blame the little collars. What did
Little
they
collar.
ever do to the universe? Come on.
Ruined this team. That's what they did.
Okay, so Kokian on Reddit said, insistence on a 3 center back formation is ruining this team. It puts a lot of physical and talent pressure on the wing backs to see this result. Totland and Horn maybe can pull that off, but the result is injuries and playing Hebert in that position. This is just dumb at this point. Let's go back to the 4 back and start, well, the 2 center backs and 2 wing backs, and do something like a 4-2-3-1. Goal or don't goal.
I think goal. We got to try something else. I mean,
Yeah, I 100% agree.
very wordy comment, but yeah, we got to try something else is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, this,
Nothing else, right?
You know, we all tried.
Yeah, this is my
just
thing.
5. Just at this point, just put out 5 players. Just put out a back line and just see what happens. Because that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing with the rest of the. There's no reason to have the rest of the field cluttered up with these stupid collars. Just let 5 in the back, and we'll see what. Don't even put a goalie
yeah,
out
the
there.
problem is, yeah, I know,
Just
right?
put a center back
hope
in
for
the
the
goal.
best.
That's it.
The thing is, and this is what boggles my mind, is that with the 3 back formation that we're doing, essentially, instead of having offensive wingers, you have defensive wing backs that then will play forward. So that puts people like Totland and Horn in the spotlight. At one point, think about this. Who would you rather have? 2 wingers, Celio and Indy, or would you rather have Totland and Horn as your focus? Come on.
Yeah, it's Celio and Indy.
Exactly. And I'm not saying you can't. I mean, if you had a 4-4-2, you could still have Celio and Indy out there and Alm as well. And then you could still have Horn on the left, Hotland on the right, and then Kessler and Hebert, Yarrow, somebody, Nilsson if he ever actually stays healthy. And you could still have those players out there, but I agree here. So here's a prediction for you guys. The next 2 games, as Andre had said, are against 2 top teams in MLS at home. So we should be at home for this. Not sure if Olaf is around much longer if we get blown out in both of those games.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that's a no goal. This team will not fire another coach midseason. There's no way. We will ride this ship all the way to the bottom of the ocean. There's no way Lutz is going to fire another coach midseason. I don't care if he comes out naked. Lutz ain't firing this guy. They ain't firing him.
I agree. I think it's still a little too early for that. I mean, there's still a lot of season left, and he didn't have 1 year. I think he at least plays out this season.
Yep. By the way, the 2 teams that have collars, us and LAFC, LAFC is only one statistical position above us. They won the West a couple years ago. Like, they had iconic jerseys, and now they've got this collar, and they're also not playing well. I think it might
We're
be
back to the collar again.
It's the fucking collar. Yep, this collar is a curse. Miami had a collar, and yes, they won a lot of games, but they did not win anything other than they didn't win the cup. So, like, teams with collars, how many MLS Cups do you think they've won? Probably 0. Teams with no collars, 30. That's what I'm saying right now.
Oh my.
The math doesn't lie.
The math does not lie. God, taxes, and math doesn't lie with collars not winning championships in the MLS.
Poor collar. What did the collar ever do to anybody?
Ruined this team, AJ. It ruined this team. That's what it did.
Man.
There's no collar on
Maybe
that
we
back
should just
there.
blame the collar.
Everything's a collar. All right. I got one real quick from Discord. Trademark says, the team doesn't fully suck until people start getting prediction points when we lose. Goal or no goal. You lost the fans once they start predicting losses.
I don't know. Fans can be fickle and silly, and you could even have a team in first place, and fans do stupid things sometimes.
How many losses did you predict we had in 2023? In 2023?
How many did I predict?
Yeah. Per week, would you predict this team would lose any of those games throughout the week, first half of the season?
It's not in the first half because we came out firing on all cylinders.
How about now? You going to predict first half of the season with losses? You're going to predict are you going to win against
we're wearing the
Columbus?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I mean that's where we are in this season, where we're in this space right now. I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet, but I mean, coming in against Columbus, I don't know if I'm going to predict we're going to win. I don't know how we do that. I don't know. I had us winning like with 60 points, and now I'm like, nah, man, we ain't winning. How are we going to beat these cats against Vancouver? Nah, man. White's going to score another
right now
brace. White's going to score a brace against us.
Yep.
How does he not? All White does is score, and we're a team that doesn't score. He might get a hat trick. So yeah, no. Sorry.
Yeah, we were actually kind of talking about this a little bit last night, that maybe Olaf's struggling coming to the MLS model. Let's face it, every league is different. Every league has different styles. I was kind of mentioning about how FIFA has field regulations where you have to have a field of a certain size. I forgot what the exact measurements are, but they give you a range that it has to be so wide. It can't be smaller or larger than this. It can't be longer or shorter than this. But MLS, pretty much our fields are on the shorter side and the narrow side. And part of the reason why is it creates more excitement because everything gets cluttered up. It's not a large field where people are just kind of passing back and forth. And it makes sense. Like if you're in a Premier League, people know soccer. They've grown up with soccer. Where here in the U.S., it's still a developing sport, and we want faster, more chaotic, and stuff like that. Maybe he hasn't adjusted to this. Maybe he didn't see where this was going. I don't know. Just kind of a thought I was going to throw out to you guys.
No, that's reasonable if he wasn't making the millions he is. It's reasonable for you or I to not respond quickly to things, but when you are the head of a professional team and you were hired before the season starts, you should know the depth of your pitch. But maybe he's stuck in his ways. We'll recover and we're going to go on and win the chip. That's what's going to happen. He's going to go out there with the measuring tape and go,
chip or the cup?
He's going to go, bye. We're going to, like this. It's 20 feet shorter. Guys, get over here. Look at this. Look at this. I got here, guys. I thought this damn pitch was going to be 30 feet wider. I'll be damned. I've been playing you too wide. Come on, get in here, fellas. We got to stop this. Yes, he's gonna wake up one day and he's gonna kick the door in on Kendall's office like in I can't think of the name of the show. Ted Lasso, and like, I got it, measuring. She's gonna say, "Get out there, you little rascal."
Yeah, man. It's still the players playing the game, man. It's just
the players know the size. They're like, coach.
Yeah.
We got to come here. Get your measuring tape, coach.
Bye. As we guys head out, let's do a quick closing arguments. And Andre, you want to start us off as we end this episode?
It's been very disappointing what we've seen so far. Like, again, I'm in my feels right now, but we still got soccer. We still get to enjoy it. I'm wearing this green jersey that I got for Earth Day, for the Earth Month of April. But looking at the schedule, I don't think we have a win in April. We have Vancouver, Columbus, and LAFC. So, but beyond that, there's still plenty of soccer left. And maybe, what they say, a broken clock finds a nut once in a while. So maybe we'll get a win. And, and then maybe we'll be good vibes again and we'll have our team back.
Yeah. My closing arguments is this. If somehow, and this is a big if Olaf and crew actually decides to change it up, and I get it. People are going to make the argument that, hey, look, we had a different rotation out there. We had Celio out there. Leuven wasn't on the field. Berkey wasn't on the field. Like, there was a different mix of players. That doesn't count, right? Like, sometimes it doesn't matter about who's out there. It's also matters what the game plan is. The game plan isn't working. The formation isn't working. If am optimistic because I truly do believe we have decent players. Do we have the top tier players of the league? Of course not. I'm not saying that, but we have decent, at least mid-range to upper mid-range. I feel like if as a whole. So I'm just saying, guys, there is some optimism if they actually decide to change something, because what's the worst? I mean, honestly, if I could actually talk to Olaf, as Steve says, Olaf listens to our show every week, I'm sure. If he goes out and has a 3 center back thing and he's playing defensive again, and I get it, we're going to be playing tough teams and he probably is going to want to feel defensive because he's going to feel that offensive pressure. If he's stuck with that, we're just going to lose. At best, maybe a draw. But yep. I don't know. I'm optimistic if he can change.
Yeah, no, I don't
see what's your closing arguments.
Closing arguments is you got to get rid of these collars. I don't know. We got to cut them off. We got to cut them off the kids. We just got to. That's once we get rid of them, then this team's better. Maybe the guys stuck them in. I don't know, man. That's a scarlet letter hanging on those guys. So I gotta say, now this is still the same team that I predicted was going to win like 60 points because they should. There's just something amiss. Is it the coach? Is it the planning? Is it the collars? No one can tell yet until we try everything.
Is it the collars again?
I get it. Yeah, AJ, you are right. We got to get rid of these collars. I am on your bandwagon now. We got to get rid of them. AJ said it first. Mm-hmm. The collars are evil.
So, guys, if you've listened this far into the show, apparently Steve has literally solved all our woes and everything wrong with our lives, and that's the collars, apparently.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Who needs a...
Steve.
If you're not going to have a necktie, don't have a collar.
That would be hilarious. What if they actually did wear neckties or little bow ties?
I mean, it can't get any worse. Ooh, a badass little... Oh, no, man. This team's a bolo tie. This team is a bolo. What does it do? Doesn't do anything. Doesn't support anything. Just hangs there, dangly. Nah, man. That's what this team is. You're right, AJ. Gotta get rid of them collars, though.
We are degenerating into something.
Just like this team.
Steve, you better take us out with our socials before we go crazy.
All right. You can find us at SCL City Showdown. We have a website. We post the surveys. We post all kinds of stuff. The ref reports, which, by the way, the ref report got the attention of Gen C's from the city broadcasting, which is really cool this week. So I'm going to keep doing those because that's a really cool thing for the fans to know. You'll find us on Facebook. You'll find us as May Zipper. You'll find us as AJ at SCL City Showdown. You'll find us out there. So just keep looking on. If you see our post, comment. We'll mention your name. If you comment, if you want to come on, more than happy to have you on. Let's just go ahead and fill this up. As many voices as we can. But other than that, the best part of doing this with you guys is being able to do our little thing at the very end. So we all raise our fists in the air, and we go, all for City, baby!
All for City.
All for City, man.